Let me ask you something. If someone walked up to you right now and said, "Hey, do this one thing this weekend and your family will never go hungry again," would you do it? Because that's exactly what we're talking about today. Most people spend their whole lives chasing food. Every single year, same story. You plant, you water, you weed, you pray it doesn't frost early, you harvest for a few months, and then winter comes and takes it all away. And you start over, and over, and over again, until you're too old to dig. And then what? Nothing. You leave nothing behind. But there's another way. A way that the smartest farmers in human history figured out thousands of years ago, and somehow most of us completely forgot about it. And it's so simple, it's almost embarrassing. You plant a tree, once, and that tree feeds your family for the rest of your life, and then keeps going, long after you're gone, long after your kids are gone. We're talking generations of food, calories, and real survival security from one afternoon of work. I call these legacy trees, and today I'm counting down the 10 most powerful ones you can put in the ground right now. Trees that kept entire civilizations alive through wars, famines, and every kind of disaster you can imagine. Let's start from number 10. Kicking us off at number 10, the sweet chestnut. And don't let the number fool you, because this tree alone could feed your entire family through winter without you growing another single thing. People in medieval Europe called it the bread tree, not because it kind of tasted like bread, because you could literally grind it into flour and bake a loaf. Entire villages in France, Italy, and the Balkans did exactly that for hundreds of years. They didn't need a grain farm. They just walked outside and picked up what fell from this one tree. One mature sweet chestnut drops between 100 and 500 pounds of nuts every single year. It can live for over 1,000 years. The nuts dry easily, store for months, and you can roast them, mill them into flour, cook them in soups, or feed them to your animals. There is almost no waste. It grows well in zones 5 through 9, like soil that drains well, and really just needs you to get it through the first couple of years. After that, leave it alone. Plant at least 2 for pollination, go for the blight-resistant hybrid varieties, and you're set. In parts of Corsica, chestnuts made up 80% of what people ate. 80%. From a tree they didn't even farm. Now that's food security. 9. The oak tree. Coming in at number 9, and I already know what you're thinking. Acorns? Really? Those are for squirrels. That's exactly what I thought too. Until I learned that before wheat, before rice, before any grain crop existed on this earth, human beings were eating acorns. And not because they were desperate, because acorns are genuinely good food when you know what to do with them. Native American tribes across this continent built entire food systems around the oak. The Cherokee, the Miwok, the Pomo, well-fed, thriving communities, and acorns were a cornerstone of how they stayed that way. You soak them to wash out the bitter tannins, and what you're left with is a mild, nutty flour loaded with carbs and calories that you can bake with, make porridge from, or press into oil. A big oak in a good year drops tens of thousands of acorns. The tree can live for 1,000 years. The one you plant this spring could be feeding people in the year 3000. And once it's established, it basically takes care of itself. Deep roots, tough as nails, rebuilds the soil around it naturally, and supports more wildlife than almost any other tree, which matters a lot when you're building a food forest and you need pollinators and natural pest control built right in. Plant an oak and you're not just planting a tree. You're building an entire ecosystem. 8. The mulberry, and this is the one I recommend to every complete beginner. If you've never planted a fruit tree in your life, start here, because mulberry doesn't care. Bad soil? Fine. No water? Fine. You forgot it existed for 3 years? Absolutely fine. It just grows. It just produces. It just keeps showing up for you season after season without asking for anything back. A mature mulberry puts out 50 to 100 pounds of berries every year. sometimes more, for 200 to 300 years. The berries come in so fast and so heavy that most people genuinely can't keep up, which is a great problem to have. Eat them fresh, dry them like raisins, make wine, make jam, or throw them on the ground and watch your chickens go absolutely wild for them. This tree has been a survival staple across Asia and the Middle East for thousands of years. And here's something most people don't know. The leaves are edible too. In parts of Asia, they've been eaten as a vegetable for centuries. Mulberry is also one of the only large fruit trees that handles tough city conditions. Compacted soil, heat, neglect, with total dignity. Got a corner of your yard that seems useless? Plant a mulberry there. 5 years from now, you'll be picking pounds of berries from that corner every summer. 7. The olive tree. And this one has been on Earth longer than most civilizations. There is an olive tree on the island of Crete that is 3,000 years old. It was a sapling when ancient Greece was at its height, and it is still producing olives right now. This year. That's not a story. That's just what olive trees do. The reason olive belongs on every serious food security list comes down to one thing: oil. Calorie-dense, storable, incredibly useful oil. You press your olives, you bottle the oil, and it keeps for 1 to 3 years without any refrigeration. Roman armies marched on it. Mediterranean civilizations ran on it. In a world where your survival depends on what you've got stored, olive oil is as close to liquid gold as food gets. One mature tree gives you 40 to 130 pounds of olives per season. It loves rocky soil, full sun, and dry conditions, the things most crops hate. Grows best in zones 8 through 11, and cold hardy varieties like Arbequina and Koronaki are pushing into cooler areas now. The oldest olive trees alive today are more than 4,000 years old. 4,000 years of continuous production from one tree. If that doesn't make you want to go plant one right now, I genuinely don't know what will. 6. The pecan. And this one solves a problem most homesteaders never even realize they have. Here's the thing. Carbs are easy to grow, protein is doable, but fat, real, calorie-dense, cooking fat that you can store, is one of the hardest things to produce at home. And in any real food security situation, fat is what keeps you warm, keeps your energy up, and keeps you alive. The pecan tree is your answer. Pecans are about 70% fat. A handful has close to 700 calories. A mature tree produces 40 to 150 pounds of nuts per year for over 300 years. Native Americans across the Mississippi Valley didn't treat pecans as a snack. They were a strategic survival food. They pressed them into a calorie-rich liquid, used as fuel for long journeys. Trade routes were built around this nut. It grows in zones 5 through 9, wants deep soil and full sun. And here's the one thing you have to get right. Plant 2 varieties for cross-pollination. One type 1 like Pawnee, one type 2 like Desirable. Plant just one tree and you'll be disappointed. Plant 2 and you've got a nut factory running for 3 centuries. It takes patience, 10 to 20 years to really hit full stride. But once it does, it runs itself. That's the deal with legacy trees. You wait once, and then you're done waiting forever. 5. The fig. Halfway through the list, and number 5 goes to a tree that has been feeding humans longer than we've been writing things down. We have evidence of fig cultivation that predates wheat farming. We were growing figs before we figured out grain agriculture. The ancient Greeks fed dried figs to Olympic athletes as performance fuel. Roman soldiers carried them on campaigns because they don't spoil, they're calorie-dense, and they're easy to transport. The fig has been a human survival food for thousands of years, and for very good reason. Human survival food for thousands of years, and for very good reason. Fresh figs are incredible, but dried figs are where the real magic happens for food security. Sun-dry them, store them, and you've got a shelf-stable food that lasts for months with zero refrigeration. Sweet, filling, and packed with fiber and minerals, A mature fig tree gives you 50 to 100 pounds of fruit per season. In warm climates, twice a season. It handles drought like a champion. It grows in rocky, shallow, terrible soil. It doesn't need spraying. It doesn't need fussing over. Chicago Hardy handles Zone 6 with some mulching. Brown Turkey and Celeste are workhorses in Zone 7 and above. In Zone 8 and warmer, the fig practically takes care of itself completely. 4. The black walnut. And this is the one I promised you at the top. The one most people overlook. And I'm going to be straight with you about the one thing you need to know before you plant it. Black walnut roots produce a natural compound that some plants don't like growing near. Tomatoes, apples, a few other garden favorites. They struggle close to it. So don't plant it next to your vegetable beds. Put it along a fence line at the edge of your property, out in a field somewhere. Give it space and keep it away from sensitive crops. That's really the only management it needs. Now here's why it's absolutely worth it. Black walnuts are nutritionally better than the commercial walnuts you buy at the store. Higher protein, richer and more intense flavor. People who've eaten them say there's no comparison. A mature tree gives you 30 to 100 pounds of nuts per year, loaded with healthy fat and protein. Store them in the shell for months, press them for oil, bake with them, eat them straight. But the food is only half the story. A mature black walnut tree with a good straight trunk is worth serious money as timber. One of the most valuable hardwoods in North America. A single well-grown tree can be worth thousands of dollars. Your grandchildren could sell it, or keep it as a living asset that just grows more valuable every decade. That's food and generational wealth from the same tree, for 150 to 200 years. Plant it away from the garden, let it grow, leave it alone. The tree handles everything else. 3. The persimmon top. And number 3 goes to the tree that produces when everything else on your property is completely finished for the year. Picture late November on your land. The garden is dead. The orchard trees are bare. Everything is gray and cold. And there's one tree standing there covered in bright orange fruit, like somebody hung lanterns from every branch. No leaves, just fruit, glowing in the cold air. That's the persimmon. It fills the gap that almost nothing else can fill. The very end of the season, when your food options are running lowest, and you need something most. The American persimmon survives temperatures down to minus 25 degrees. It grows in poor soil. It doesn't need spraying, because the fruit stays bitter and unpleasant, right up until the first frost scares off every pest insect that might have bothered it. It's almost like the tree evolved specifically to avoid being messed with. When it does ripen, it gets intensely sweet, 18 to 21% sugar. You can eat it fresh or dry it into a shelf-stable, chewy, calorie-dense food that lasts for months. A mature tree gives you 25 to 75 pounds of fruit per year, right at the end of the season when your pantry needs it most. Japanese persimmon varieties give you bigger, sweeter fruit in Zone 7 and warmer. American persimmon is your cold climate workhorse. Either way, no spray, no fuss, late season calories on autopilot. 2. The honey locust runner-up. And this might be the most practical tree on the entire list if you keep any kind of animals on your land. The honey locust produces long seed pods in the fall. Big, leathery, sweet pods that hang off every branch. And those pods are loaded with sugar and digestible carbohydrates. Your pigs will stand under this tree and wait for pods to fall. Your cattle, your goats, your sheep, your chickens. They all go after them. It is free livestock feed from a tree that takes care of itself year after year. But it doesn't stop there. The honey locust fixes nitrogen in the soil, meaning it's fertilizing the ground around it naturally while it grows. It thrives in poor, compacted, dry conditions that other trees struggle in. It provides shade and shelter for your animals. It's doing 4 or 5 jobs at once without being asked. You collect the pods in fall, dry them and use them as supplemental feed through winter when fresh forage is gone. That's a free feed source that runs itself for decades. If you're farming any animals at all, the value of this tree is almost impossible to overstate. It's not the flashy one. It's not the one people talk about at the farmer's market. But it might be the hardest working tree on this entire list, and that's exactly why it's sitting at number 2. 1. The moringa. And here we are, number 1. The one I told you would break your brain a little, and I mean that. Moringa oleifera, doesn't look like much at first glance. It's a fast-growing tree that thrives in hot, dry climates, mainly zones 9 through 11, though people are successfully pushing it into zone 8 with some protection. It's not ancient and massive like the oak. It won't outlive your house by 1,000 years like the chestnut. But in terms of what it actually delivers for human nutrition, nothing on this list, and I'd argue almost nothing on Earth, comes close. The leaves of the moringa tree are one of the most nutrient-dense foods that exist. More vitamin C than oranges, more calcium than milk, more potassium than bananas, meaningful protein from a leaf, which almost never happens in the plant world. And here's the practical part. You harvest the leaves, dry them, grind them into a powder, and store that powder for months. You are literally making a natural multivitamin from a tree in your backyard. In countries across Africa, Asia, and Central America, moringa has been used for generations as a critical nutrition source, especially for children and nursing mothers. Because in places where food is scarce, this tree delivers what the body needs most. Food security researchers have been studying it intensively because it grows fast, it grows in brutal conditions, and it produces a quality of nutrition that almost nothing else can match. In your food forest, it also grows fast enough to give you early canopy, while your slower trees are still getting established. The seeds can actually filter and clarify water. The leaves feed your animals. It pulls its weight in every direction. If you live somewhere warm enough to grow it, there is simply no reason not to have moringa on your land. It earns the top spot because it doesn't just feed you. It nourishes you in a way that makes every other tree on this list work better for your body.